This episode of Auto Dealer Live is brought to you by Auto Dealer University.
Hey, this is David Villa. I'm here with David Cribbs and Chris Fritcher, and it's 3:30 Eastern Standard Time. And this is Auto Dealer Live. What's up, gentlemen?
Hey, how are you, man?
What's up?
Come on. Cribbs is
Let's
back.
do it.
Cribbs been on the road, man, like Willie Nelson on the road again. You've been taking you've been out on the road at least 2 or 3 days a week, Cribbs. Parts of the day and doing some training at semi-local dealerships. Man, how's that been going?
That's been going great. It's fantastic because it's not just an opportunity to go into one store, but multiple, and it's been fantastic. A lot of nameplates: Ford, Honda, Hyundai. Anyone you can think of.
You guys have been really, man. Just on a just a compliment. You're pushing right now. This is we're gonna throw this out there, and this might not seem like a lot to maybe companies that are out there, but it's a lot to the division of Auto Dealer University, which is a fairly new division within the last year. And we've signed up, first of all, we signed up over 120 dealers in the last 180 days, but we have put on 35 dealerships so far this month, and you guys are tracking
Just this
40.
month, yeah.
This is full-blown dealerships signing up for the program for a minimum of a year. So hats off to you guys, man. But you've been doing some serious training, kicking off and so forth. So, man, great job, brother. I just want to tell you that.
I appreciate that. Yeah, we're on the path to 400 this year, and we'll probably surpass it. So happy about it.
That's stronger than new rope, man. Chris, what's up with you, buddy?
Same old, man.
Same old. A man of few words, ladies and gentlemen.
I am a man of few words.
There you have it, Chris Fritcher. What say you, Chris? I'm good. So, hey, speaking of good, man, I would say great. We're going to step it up from good. We have a great show today, Cribbs. We have, we have an outstanding, I would go to say an all-star cast on the show today. You guys are in for a treat because we have Scott Simon. Scott is the managing partner and general manager of Valley Chrysler, Dodge, Honda, Jeep, Nissan, Ram, Subaru, and Volkswagen. And then he's going to be Skyped in. And then we have Brett Oubre that's going to be on with Scott. Brett is the president at Natchez Toyota, Winsboro, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and Lakeside Ford. And, man, just a great panel with two great dealers that are absolutely on the cutting edge of just moving the needle. And we're going to pick their brain and talk about, what they're doing in 2020 to really raise the bar. Because really that's what it is, right? It's about raising the bar in 2020. And then later on in the show, we have our spotlight. And I can't think of a better person to put the spotlight on today than El Patron, which is breaking some news. He broke some news yesterday, so he's going to break it on our show, and we're going to talk to him. He is the new partner, and we're going to tell you where that is and what he's doing if you've been under a rock. But he's going to be on the show today as well, and we're going to talk to him about this move and about what 2020 looks like. Just a great show all the way around the board, man. I'm excited. And it's going to be really, really, I think it's going to be informative, and it's one that you're going to want to probably get your notepad ready for. I know I would if I were in your shoes.
Yeah, I'm ready for it. All those guys are rich in history and growing up in the auto business. In fact, just real quick, I think about Brett Oubre, talking with him the very first day that I met him, he talked about his days at Auto Trader before he even became a dealer. So just a super cool lineup, and what's to be expected from Auto Dealer Live, really. But there's some other cool things going on. I know we've got an article here that's pretty topical at this time of year when we're looking at Super Bowl around the corner. By the way, you doing anything for Super Bowl?
Yeah, I'm going to watch it. And, I did a big party last year. I mean, I'm not kidding you. Lou was there.
That's why I'm asking on the air, because I was checking my mailbox today, and
I
it
got
was
burned,
empty.
brother. We had
I did.
I don't care what it was. I still had a blast.
I didn't get
it. Was
invited.
amazing. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing.
It was
Let me tell you something, bro. I lived in Florida my entire life, right? My entire life. And we know that if we live in Florida, you guys are in Florida, Floridians, that Florida, it rains. Like if you've never been to Florida for a lengthy period of time in the summer, the Florida rains pretty much every day in the summer, but it does it for like 45 minutes and then stops, right? Yeah. And the one day ever in existence that literally it rained all day and all night long. Like I thought that Noah was going to float by on the ark at any given moment. It was the Super Bowl, and I had a party. I'm not kidding you, bro. I spent $20,000. Okay, we had a party planner. I mean, we had 70 guests. We had a tent up. We had blow ups for the kids, and we have 3 acres, and we had it in our backyard. We had, we had a 25-foot screen blow up. Anyway, long story short, it rained like ridiculous. And it was just soaked, and they all had to come in my house, and it was just so. Really, no, I'm not having a party. I'm probably going to go
for 18 grand. For 18 grand, you can come over to my house. I mean,
I'm going somewhere else, brother. So I might just take you up on that. But I'm watching and pulling for the Chiefs. I want to see them win. It's been a while, but I know that you were talking about the Super Bowl because you were reading this article here about Volvo before we bring our guest on. Talk a little bit about that. But really, man, guerrilla marketing is making a comeback, right?
It is. And you know what? I'm in love with what Volvo is doing here. I mean, we all know it's big bucks to advertise, so you got to have an ROI. But, you know, Volvo, the headline is Volvo to give away $1 million in cars if a safety is scored in the Super Bowl. So, you know, odds are a little bit low, obviously, that that a safety will be scored in any game. But I love the play on words. We all know that Volvo is specifically known for safety, so that's huge. But then the other thing that takes it a step further that I think is just absolutely brilliant is that the way that you enter this contest, Dave and Chris, is how Volvo has you enter and submit your entry is to actually go online and configure the actual car that you would want to win. So they can't even estimate how many cars yet until they're all drawn and they figure out the value of each one. But the point is that how about that for driving people specifically to your site, to Volvo?
Yeah, it's a win-win.
To configure cars.
Yeah, it's a win-win, and it's really it's a form of grade. Even though they're using media, obviously they're spending millions of dollars, and it's a win-win for them regardless. You know, if they get the PR from the standpoint of someone winning $1 million.
I think their stock's going to go through the roof.
Yeah,
like Reese's after ET.
Oh, if there's a safety, they're going to win. But if there's not, they're going to win because look at
all the people are opted in now to receive their advertisements. I mean, think about all the data you just collected. Mm-hmm. You know how people want their cars configured, the whole 9 yards. I love it.
Well, you know, I know this is traditional marketing, and some would say that's not guerrilla marketing. Why are you talking about that? But it kind of when I say guerrilla marketing, I don't just mean organic marketing. You know, like really true guerrilla marketing is. It's more. I'm speaking more, I guess, of out of the box. You know, really just you know,
like a
really
loudspeaker, man.
Making yourself stand out because the reality is attracting people to yourself when it comes to marketing. Because if your product is needed. You know, if it's, Chris, you're a marketer. I mean, you know, and we talk about this a lot. If your product is needed, dealers, if you're out there, if somebody needs your product, they need your car, you know, your vehicle, they need what you have, then think about it, man. It's one of these things where how many people can you get attracted to you? Because if you can get them to land on your island, so to speak, then you got a shot at them.
Yeah.
Isn't that what it's all about?
That's what it's all about. I mean, and they're actually taking a step further. I mean, you get to learn so much about people because they're going to go and fill out and customize the type of vehicle they want. So now all of the data that you collected, now you can go and retarget those people later, whether they score, whether a safety's scored or not, and target them with actually more relevant ads with like the color of the car they want, the type of interior they want, all the options they want, all these things they're going to have at their disposal. It's just going to make it that much more powerful. And all the people you're going to introduce to Volvo that might not normally look at Volvo. That's the other thing, too.
Yeah.
So I think it's a great idea. Speaking of giving away something, we're going to give away some stuff, man. We got some hats here. We got the on-air hat. Look at that. Ooh. We got the ADL hat.
You're zooming in those shots. Zoom in on that. We don't see those stuff. Come on, zoom in.
What camera guy? What camera?
There we go.
Woo,
Come on,
look
baby.
at that. I like this one.
How about that T-shirt?
Wow, that's crazy. So what are we going to do? We're just going to give them away. Let's just give them away.
Give
to
it
some
away.
comment. We'll just choose some folks. Hey, just share the show. Make sure you share the show. Speaking of guerrilla marketing, organic marketing, share the show for us. You know, just get the word out there. We got some great guests coming on. And then make some comments, and then we'll choose some folks, and we'll give these cool hats away. And I can tell you right now, these are really cool hats. You'll love them, and we'll give these out to you. Individuals on the room, you know, who share the show. But what do you think, Cribs?
Yeah, and you can catch us live on YouTube now as well, right? Just subscribe to our YouTube channel, Auto Dealer Live, and you can catch a live broadcast on YouTube. You can get the notifications when we go live Thursdays at 3:30. And hello. Hey, you know what? Going back to this article with Volvo, if I'm a Volvo dealer, if I'm in sales at Volvo, sales management, whatever the case may be, man, here's an opportunity for you guys to exploit. I know, Mabel, if you're watching, you're probably all over it already. But I want to get this out to my database, not just this contest, but I want to leverage this article and what's going on with Volvo to help drive traffic to my particular store, right? So social media, whatnot. Okay, Mabel's
think so.
Mabel's made a move.
No,
Yeah.
I think she's still there. I think,
she is?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh no.
She's Volvo for life.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Mabel, if you're
my
on
bad.
comment, let us know.
Yeah,
Mabel.
she
I know
bleeds.
you're watching.
She bleeds Volvo,
For life.
I mean, she got a tattoo of Volvo.
right?
All right. Well, let's go to a quick commercial break, Dave. Is that okay with
Yeah,
you?
when we come back, we're going to have Scott Simons of managing partner, general manager of the Valley Auto Group, and then we're going to have president of Natchez, Winsboro, Lakeside, Brett Oubre. They're going to be on in just a moment. You don't want to go anywhere. This is Auto Dealer Live. We'll be right back.
Often get asked about success stories. These are just a few of our most recent favorites.
Mr. Villa, Mike Young here, Thurston Auto Plaza, Ukiah, California. Hey, I'm calling just to let you know that 3 months following your training, I was able to achieve level 3 sales status, 45 units in 90 days. First time that I've achieved that in my career. Flying high, like you said, never the same, man. I cannot thank you enough. Your training seriously changed me, man.
David, I would like to go ahead and let you know, after 30 years in the car business, there's been very few people who have motivated me to want to go ahead and train more. And I would like to go ahead and say that I would personally come work for you and follow you into any sales process that was ever open or any opportunity. Thank you very much for bringing it, and I've been doing it for 30 years, and I really find what you do in front of a camera very motivating. Thank you.
Charles Fresca. He's been here 5 years. I've been here for 3 months. Charles Fresca's been 12 to 14 car guy. I set him down and we've been doing some one-on-ones, and we went through Own the Phone, we went through the Growth 101, and we went through the new car training. And Charles is not a new guy. Charles is an old guy that's skipping steps, putting back on the basics. Went through it. Last month, Charles had 22 cars.
Come on.
And we're back.
Hey, we're back live. You're watching Auto Dealer Live. We're about to bring our guest panel on. Dave Villa had to step out for just a moment. Had something pop up real quick that was unexpected. So, hey, that's what happens when you're live. But the show goes on, and we've got Mr. Scott Simons coming on in just a moment, Brett Oubre, and some other special guests here in a few minutes. But we're talking 2020. What's going on at the store? What do you see in 2020? What's your plan for 2020? We're going to be talking to our guests about that have had incredible success in this business, and I'm about ready for them. What do you think, Chris?
You know what I like most about these segments is the fact that you get to see other people's perspectives. You know, we got a general manager from a Chrysler store, Honda store, Jeep, and you know, we got another one here that does Toyota and Ford and Chrysler. So you get to see the spectrum, not just of the different viewpoints, but also different makes, like what they're thinking from different product lines.
Yeah, different brands, different parts of the country. But I think most of all for me, it's the fact that each of our guests, doesn't matter what part of the country they're in or what brand they have, they're excelling, right? They've done something special in this auto industry, right? So that's the real reason that we have them on. And I know that many of our general managers, general sales managers, owners of stores across the country tell me, Chris, that they take notes when certain people are on, and we have those people on today, which is amazing.
Yeah, I can't wait.
So we're going to get right to it. Wait, are you all set, Lou, or need a couple more minutes? All right, a couple more minutes we have to talk about. So don't forget to like and share the show. We got some things up for grabs today, some great swag. And if you don't already know, when we mentioned before, we went to break real quick. We are now broadcasting live on YouTube as well. So make sure you subscribe to the Auto Dealer Live channel there. And Matthias is laughing at me.
They can actually, what's going on? What did I miss?
Oh no, that's okay. I'm plugged in.
He's plugged in.
Yeah, I'm plugged into a different. I had to scoot over since Dave had to scoot out for a second. Don't worry, we're plugged in. They can hear me.
All right, so we got Scott Simons on the line, and we got Brett Oubre. Scott, you can hear us, right, Scott?
Yes.
There's Scott. And Brett, you can hear us, Brett?
Okay.
There it is. We got everybody on the line.
Awesome.
All right, so we got them Skyped in as well, Lou, or is it audio?
Oh
only?
yeah, we got Scott. Scott
perfect.
Skyped in right now. Scott,
Oh,
go
yeah,
ahead
I
and wave
see
on
him
us,
now.
Scott.
Scott, how you doing?
I see Scott now.
All
right.
Hey, Scott Simons, managing partner, general manager at Valley Chrysler, Dodge, Honda, Jeep, Nissan, Ram, Subaru, VW. Wow, the whole lineup there. How you doing, Scott?
I'm doing fantastic. Hey, thank y'all guys for having me on today. How are y'all doing?
We're doing great. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, we're doing great. If you can turn his audio up just a little bit, Lou, I think we could use that to go up just a little bit.
There you go.
All right, perfect. And we have Mr. Brett Oubre on as well. Is he on Skype as well?
No, Brett's not Skype, but Brett's on the phone.
We have his audio. Okay, so Mr. Brett Oubre, president at Natchez Toyota, Winsboro Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and Lakeside Ford. How are you, Brett?
I'm doing good, David. How are you, buddy?
Fantastic. Thank you. Hey, it's great to hear your voice, Brett. And great to have Brett and Scott on today. You know, it's funny, Brett, before you came on, I was talking about the fact that when we first met, you know, you shared with me a few things about where you started and got started in the business with Auto Trader. And now you own multiple stores. Hats off to you and what you've done in the car business. But as we move into 2020, what are you seeing? I mean, what do you feel like you're really focused on? Where do you think the opportunity is for you and your stores?
We're focused on getting better in the process, working the sales process better, working the service process better, working the accounting process better, and just becoming masters of that process, because we feel like the strategic advantage is in our leadership, the culture that we create, and through that executing better than everybody else.
Yeah, and the thing is I know that you focus a lot on professional development, personal development with your team. And what does that look like when you have, different stores in different locations? I mean, are you guys all, when you talk about, sharpening the process, are you guys all on the same exact, page, or does it differ from store to store?
No, we're on the same page. I mean, obviously we have culture leaders at every location, and we all share the same idea. Obviously, we let them put their own kind of touch to it, if that makes any sense, their own personality, their own style. But as far as our processes, they all remain the same. I mean, if you go to Chick-fil-A and New York City, if you go in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, you should get the same experience, but you're going to have two different leaders at the top. So we're kind of focused on that, trying to create that piece, if that makes any sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think we have such a luxury, both with Auto Dealer Live and Auto Dealer University, Chris, where we're able to kind of go into multiple locations, and sometimes we'll work with a group that's the same group, but gosh, it's diversely different in process, and this things going on at the dealership. You walk in one store, it has a certain type of process. You walk in another, it's different. So it is refreshing. By the way, Brett, to think about everybody being on the same page. It certainly seems like it would be better or more efficient from a leadership role at the top. And maybe, Brett, before we go back to Scott real quick, is there anything that you're testing the waters on in 2020 when you look out at 2020 and you say, you know what, I'm gonna take a little risk over here, or I'm gonna put something into play, or take a look at something that may be somewhat experimental as a dealer?
The most thing that we're getting more experimental, quote unquote, is getting away from everything traditional, and going to more digital in every aspect, whether it be customer contact, whether it be customer acquisition, whether it be accounting process. We're gonna explore the whole world of digital and try to unplug from traditional completely.
All right. Well, I know that all those who are watching are going to be tuning in, because we'll obviously be kind of checking up with you, Brett, throughout the year when it comes to what you're having success with. But let's go over to Scott now. Let's bring Scott Simons in the conversation. And okay, so Lou says I need a minute.
I'm sorry, we just got someone else just called in, so I'm going to bring them on as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we have a caller?
We got two people just jumped on, so I'm just trying to get them on the bridge. And I apologize for any
It's okay.
confusion.
Just let us know who's on the line, and we'll take the call here in a moment.
We're bringing them on right now.
Okay, perfect. So so Chris, what do you think about that question about just what someone might be taking a risk on this year in 2020 with
well, that's music to my ears.
I know, right? I want to know.
From a marketing digital guy.
I want the inside scoop on what dealers are willing to.
Hey, real quick. So we're gonna bring two people on real quick that are actually really cool. I'm actually boom, they're on the video right now.
Oh,
boom. Go ahead, say what's up.
Looky there.
Oh,
look at there. We just had Mr. Glenn Lundy
in the
join
house.
us.
Jump in. Look at him showing
Little
off
guys
his camera angle. He's showing off his camera angle.
Got the
rise and
Raiders in the
grind.
background there. Look at that.
Glenn, how are you still
know.
up, man? It's like 4:00 almost. How are you even still up? You get up at like 2 or 3 a.m. I think.
Well, you gotta get up early, and that's just part of it. We gotta rock and roll.
I love it. Turn up his volume a little bit, Lou, if you can. And hey, thanks, Glenn. And I'm going to remind everyone within the auto industry. In fact, I'll let Glenn just tell maybe a quick summary. But former GM at Dan Cummins Chevrolet. There's a few things that really stand out for me, Glenn, aside from obviously connecting with you personally and just in love with the way that you carry yourself and pour into other people. I think everyone knows that. But for the viewers who aren't as familiar with your story in automotive, just maybe take a quick moment to talk about the store you worked at for so many years, kind of where you started and where you were able to leave off as far as the growth there in maybe 60 seconds.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So I started in the car business over in Flagstaff, Arizona at a Nissan store. But what most people know about is I worked at Dan Cummins Chevrolet in Buick in Paris, Kentucky. I started there in January of 2011. It's a small town, population 9,600. And they were selling about 100. And is it still too soft for you? Can you hear me better now? We were selling like 100 to 120 cars a month, somewhere right in there when I started. And then this past March of 2018, we sold 1,043 cars in 27 business days from that same store. So we had a lot of increase over a period of that 7 years. And then this past October, I've stepped out, and now I'm working with dealerships all over the country to help them get same results.
Awesome. That's an incredible story, Glenn. The really cool thing also, one of the things that I took away from when you were here in our offices before was your commitment to really get every single salesperson, believing every single salesperson could be, a 30 car a month person, come in every single day and sell a car. And I love that. And I know that you took a lot of people to that point, obviously, not only individually, but to get that big corporate result. So, real quick, I'm going to skip over to Scott Simons real quick. And
that's one sexy guy right there, I'll tell you. Scott Simons, man. Woo-hoo, look at him. He's got the fresh cut. I'm loving it. Got Goggins over there behind him. What's up, Scott Simons?
Hey, Glenn. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. It's great to see you as well.
I love it. I love seeing you two guys on camera communicating. Scott, I'm going to kind of ask you the same question that I asked Brett earlier, especially with the multiple stores kind of directing everything over your way. What are your thoughts going into 2020? I mean, something magical anyway about 2020, right? But now we've been on a roll for years in the car business now. We're going into 2020. What do you see as maybe something that you're focused on for 2020, maybe, or just as an industry or there within your stores?
Yeah, we are focusing on our processes and our people, and we're getting back to make sure that we're fully trained with every interaction with our customers and guests. We feel like that we need to tighten up all of our processes to make sure that we're doing everything that we're supposed to do. We feel like that training is extremely important, that if you gave me a choice whether to cut advertising or training.
We've been on a roll for years.
Advertising before I'll cut training. So, we are prepared for a big year. I mean, it's been a good run. We don't see it slowing down anytime soon. I don't know if anybody saw the news or not, but Sean Hayes joined our organization, which whenever, you can get someone like Sean Hayes to join an already great team. So we're proud to have him at Carter Myers Automotive Group. But it's been a great year. We're really excited about this year, but we do feel like that we need to tighten up processes and make sure that we really focus on training. Even as technology advances, we still need to make sure that we're focused on the basics of taking care of the consumer. So, but we're excited about 2020.
So how exactly do you get your team to focus specifically on, as you said, tighten things up? How as a general manager and partner are you able to get everybody on the same page and get them to hyper focus on back to the basics? How do you do that?
Very clear expectations and processes to make sure everybody's on the same page, make sure everybody buys into the vision of the company. Individuals need to have a career flight plan. They need to know, for example, we just ask every employee to give us 3 personal goals and 3 professional goals. And it's emailed to me and their leaders. And then we sit down and go over it with them. So we not only, teach them about the auto industry, but we do life with them. So we personally mentor them. Like, I'll give you an example. Our managers are mentored by Danelle Delgado and Glenn Lundy. So we're mentored by them. So we get training on not only being the best employee that we could be, but the best person. So we take it a step further. We're also an ESOP, so we're employees own stock in our company. So we are not just a car dealership.
I love that because
we move lives forward, not only for our guests and our community, but for our employees.
I love that because you're building a culture there. You're not only taking the company's vision, but you're also implementing the individual person that works at the store's vision. I love that. Absolutely love that.
Yeah, and I want to go back to Brett Oubre for a moment. Brett's still with us on the line, and just kind of, Brett, you've heard a couple of comments from the other dealers, and then, I do want to talk about this idea of, once you have a store or a group kind of up and running, kind of, for lack of a better word, the way you want it to operate, then you begin to start digging deeper, just like a great football team, right? They don't rest. They go deeper and deeper into their processes. So what would you maybe say to a dealer are some of the areas that they could maybe focus on, or some practices that their leaders might implement on a daily basis when it comes to engagement with their team and kind of digging deeper into perfecting a process?
Well, I mean, I think first that we need to throw the disclaimer out there. It's easy to get on a radio show and say several buzzwords and make it sound like it's easy. This is die in the wool, stuck in the grind it out. Some days you feel like you're having some accomplishment. Some days you don't. Sometimes you look over a 30-day time span and go, man, we've made some progress. Sometimes you don't feel that way. And so I just wanted to put that out there because people listening to it go, well, they haven't all figured out. Man, we have those down days as well. We need to throw a disclaimer out there. It's easy to get on a radio show and say several buzzwords and make it sound like it's easy. It's individual employees die in the wool, they go to stuck in the grind and grind it out. Some days you feel like you're having some accomplishment. Some days, and obviously competitive, but what's their vision? Where do they want to see themselves in a year, 2 years, 3 years, 6 years? Some of them want to be the best of whatever they're doing. Some of them want to own their own home. Some of them want to change careers and try to help them go to work daily on those things. And when we do that, then they go up and we go up together.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, that Brett brings out, because when we have these moments on the radio and we're spotlighted, or even on social media, you see only really the most positive things, right? Talking about best practices and the customer experience and all these things that we do right. But it can kind of get to a place where we forget about all of the trials that even the most successful dealers go through each and every day. And I think what I'm hearing just from the three of you, and we'll go back to Glenn on this, is the connection between the people, you and the people, right? As leaders, you have to, you're not going to be, I don't feel you're going to be that effective unless your people believe in you, and then making that personal connection so that they feel the purpose, they feel part of the team, they understand clearly the goals. Scott talked about that, understanding exactly what each person wants to accomplish. I think that connection, Glenn, and you are an expert on that, maybe is key. Maybe speak to that for a moment.
Yeah, man. There's a new book out by Simon Sinek called The Infinite Game, and he talks about this in depth. That it is the leader's responsibility. The leader is not responsible for the results. The leader is responsible for the people that drive the results. And that's the reality of the situation. Is as leaders, as GMs, as owners, any of our leadership positions, the more we can pour into our people, the more that we can develop our people, not just with training, like Scott said, Carter Myers Automotive Group. We train on all the things. We want to make sure people have good marriages. We want to make sure people are spending times in developing relationships with their kids. We want to make sure that they have a spiritual understanding of themselves, right? Like, we tap into all aspects, because when you have a balanced individual working for you, you can extract greatness out of that person. If they're just all training, hit people over the head, sell the car, work 70, 80 hours a week, we don't care about your life, your relationships, or any of those things outside of work, then that's where we end up, having to drag people to the party versus them showing up ready to rock and roll. Make sense?
Hey, Glenn, this is David Villa. I'm sorry, guys, I had to run out and handle something here at the office. But, I'm jumping in at the end of this. But I want to, it's funny, it's ironic because people, and we're going to talk a lot about, and really go the direction in a minute about what you're doing with Hustle and Grind, obviously the third one coming up. But when you hear the name, right, people I think have a misconception a lot of times. They really don't get what it is. If they listen to the Glenn Lundy that's talking right now, he's talking about how important it is, man, to get everything in your life right. Because if you do that, then you're really hustling, then you're really grinding, and then you're going to see the fruit of it. And it's not just going out right and just selling a car. It's not just, but and so with that, I want to ask you, man. In Scott, Brett, you guys have been in this car business for a long time as well. It's like turning the Titanic. But man, I tell you what, I am so excited to see, it turn now. It's like you can start to see that this is not going to hit the iceberg, right? This is going to make it to shore. Like, things are happening in this industry that we love, and that is what fires me up so much. Glenn, I hear you talk about those things, and 10 years ago, that's unheard of to be talked about in the car business. Like, but right now we're talking the top stores in the nation that are some of the most productive. And by the way, they hold their gross and they make money, and they got great families and great people, that great culture. It's a big deal, Scott. It's a really big deal, man, that this industry in 2020 is poised, right, to do some major things that it never, 10 years ago, you never would have thought that it could do. Doesn't that excite you?
Yeah, absolutely. It's we want to tell people that we're proudly in the auto industry, and there was probably a time that we couldn't proudly say that. But I've always I love the auto industry, just like the other gentleman on here, just like you, David. And the auto industry is changing, and it's changing. There's some things that needed to be changed, and I think we still have a ways to go, but I think we're on the right path. And, it's a wonderful industry. Like, I was at the Virginia State Capitol yesterday with a bunch of car dealers together, talking to approaching the governor, House of Delegates, and senators about they want to eliminate state inspections and what it would do to the safety of our communities. You have dealers that are competing against each other up there, going to meet with each politician to talk about this and other things about our franchise laws. So, I think the auto industry is heading in a wonderful direction. I think we've come a long way. I think we still have ways to go, but it is, I proudly have always said I'm proud to be in the auto industry, and I'm proud to be a car salesperson. And it's just, we're gaining more and more and more momentum. And we're getting some quality human beings in this auto industry that really want to make a difference in the people's lives that work here, in the communities that we serve, and in the country. So,
man, and I agree, Dave. And touching on what you said there, you want to know what's easy in the car business? It's easy to show up at work at 8:30 in the morning and drink your energy drinks and crank through the day, making phone calls and hanging out at the water cooler, and selling a couple cars and going home at 9 o'clock at night and playing PlayStation until 2 o'clock in the morning. That's easy. You want to know what hustle and grind looks like? Like, hustle and grind means you wake up early, you spend some time on yourself. You'll see Scott Simons over there CrossFitting and making sure that he's healthy, right? You spend some time on yourself. You maybe spend some time in prayer if you're a believer, right? You spend some time in prayer. You make sure you're developed okay. Then you wake the kids up, right? You wake the kids up, you put them all together, you make sure they're getting sent off the right way, they have healthy breakfasts, so on and so forth. Then you go in and you work and you grind and you develop people and you help people through their problems and their challenges, and then you go home and you take care of your spouse and your house, and you go to bed at 11:30 at night and get up at 3:50 a.m. the next morning and do it all over again. That's what hustle and grind looks like. It's easy to just go sell cars.
Come on.
It's hard to develop a well-balanced life that really extracts greatness. And that's what that's what, Hustle and Grind Con. That's why we're so passionate about that particular conference, because we pull people together. We pull together owners, general managers, salespeople. We have people from outside the industry. We pull them all together, and our tagline says it's Hustle and Grind Con. It's the only automotive conference in the world that's designed to change your life. It's not all about just selling cars anymore, man. It's about creating that lifestyle to extract greatness out of your people.
Yeah, I love that. And so, Glenn, let me ask you this. I mean, it's buzzing right now. Obviously, the holidays are behind us, and it was starting to pick up, and people were talking about it. But now in January and moving into February, man, you're starting to hear about it. You're starting to see people get excited about it. I know you're filling up the seats, and tell us when it is. Obviously, we're going to be there, and I'm so excited, man. A lot of our dealers, we're starting to reach out to them. My guys are inviting, any dealer anywhere, but especially the ones, that are in the Southeast region that can easily get there, man. They're telling all of them about it, and so everyone's starting to buzz and talk about it. Tell us when it is, where it is, what's going on, and why the dealers and salespeople, people that are listening right now, need to jump on this and get on board.
Yeah, man. Well, Hustle and Grind. I want to start by telling a short little story. David Villa, when I reached out to David about Hustle and Grind Con, David told me something, and it'll always stick with me. He said, "Glenn, my business is rocking. We're doing really well. We're helping a lot of dealers. We're growing. We're creating jobs." He said, "To be honest with you, I turn down a lot of conferences these days. I turn down a lot of speaking engagements. I'm just focused on the business." He said, "But Hustle and Grind Con, that's something special. It's a movement. It's not just a conference. It's something special." And so, David, I appreciate you being a part of it. Obviously, Scott's going to be a part of it too. But it's April 20th and 21st in Orlando, Florida. 2 days. I think we got 14 speakers overall. We also do some things really interesting with Hustle and Grind Con. We rent a bunch of mansions outside of the conference itself. So starting on the 19th, going through the 22nd, we have mansions. Instead of staying in a hotel, just going to a conference and then going, to your hotel at night, we actually all go back to the mansions. We hang out and we have breakfast together and dinner together, and we really work on the relationship side, building those relationships. So it's an incredible experience. If you are looking in your dealership, if you are interested in elevating your culture, extracting greatness out of your people, re-energizing in 2020, then you've absolutely got to be at Hustle and Grind Con. It will do all of those things and more.
Man, that's awesome. I can hardly wait. And Taria, if we can get Taria Lou to make sure, Glenn, what is the website? I'm going to have Taria post this into the feed now as well. And that way anyone that's watching, they can click on right now and find out more information and go ahead and register. Why wait, right?
That's right. HGC3.net. HustleGrindCon3.net. I love it. This year we got to use that HGC3. Next year I'm gonna have to figure something else out, Scott, because it's not gonna sound as good. HGC4 it just doesn't sound as good. But HGC3.net. You can go on, you get your hustle hashes, your tickets, all that good stuff. You can learn all about the conference.
Man, thank you guys so much for coming on. We're going to be Scott Simons. Thank you so much, killing it up there, man. I love what you're doing. Your people are always so great, man. We got a chance to meet one of your guys, John, and Cattleborn, if I said that right. This guy speaks so highly of you, man, and so just good people, great guy, and of course Ben. We love Ben. And Glenn, thank you so much for coming on. Brett Oubre, one of my great friends. Brett is a leader's leader, runs several stores, speaks for John, personal friend John Maxwell. And you're in his circle, Brett. I know that you're a leader's leader, and I just want to thank you guys for all coming on, man, and just being part of the show today. And we look forward to seeing you guys in Orlando.
Yeah, David, thank you so much, and it was great to be on here. Glenn, always great to see you, brother. And thank you for all you do, David. You know that you're a really good ambassador to this industry and very respected, you know, Christian guy that cares about people. So thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Talk to you soon.
Thank you, Brett.
Appreciate you.
Hey, don't go anywhere, guys, because we're going to be bringing on in our spotlight segment here in just a minute, El Patron. And, you know, Chris, El Patron, obviously we followed him, you know, killing it on social media, man. If you guys aren't on LinkedIn, following El Patron as well. Just doing a lot of stuff. The guy's, you know, blowing up social media. But more importantly, he blew up Brooklyn Mitsubishi. The guy was doing, they were a top 5 Mitsubishi store in the country, selling used cars right there in the middle of Brooklyn. And, you know, it's well documented. We're going to go to break too, Lou, or are we going to go straight?
We can actually go to
Okay, so,
break if you want.
we don't have to. I'm saying, or is it okay if we don't?
We don't have to.
Okay, so just give me a thumbs up. We'll just talk about him for a second. So while you're getting him on, he's going to be a spotlight. But listen, so in Brooklyn Mitsubishi, top 5 Mitsubishi store in the country, crushing it, selling used cars right in the middle of Brooklyn. And as you know, we all followed, you know, the documented story where you know, Rudy felt, hey, El Patron said, hey, I'm leaving. Right? Listen, man, I appreciate everything that you know, Bobby, the dealer principal there, has done for me, man. You know, reached the pinnacle of this particular dealership. You know, did what I could do, helped the dealership grow. Has nothing but great things to say about that tenure there. And said, you know, I'm stepping down at this particular moment, looking for my next challenge. We watched him on social media probably for a couple of months while he was just, you know, documenting, helping, consulting, traveling around, talking to some dealers, you know, just visiting some of his buddies in the industry. He had Game Changer conference, I think, down in Miami during that time frame. And then just yesterday posted that he has landed as a partner GM at Sunrise Chevrolet at Forest Hills, and that's right there in New York, in the city there. And so we reached out and said, hey, man, come on and let's break this thing. Let's talk about it. And we bumped, actually, today's spotlight to bring on El Patron because we felt like that this was an organic spotlight moment. And you know, I'm excited to just really say, hey, man, look, let's talk about your journey. Because there might be someone listening out there. Leaving somewhere is easy. You know, and we're not advocating leaving, but changes for the purpose of really growing and changing is necessary, and so maybe there's someone out there that this could speak to, right? And El Patron's journey might help them, and so we're going to bring him on in a minute. What's your thoughts on it?
I think it's inspirational too. You know, you see someone like El Patron who you know obviously committed and was a huge factor in growing a dealership, and then being able to watch them take that next leap, right, from you know, general sales manager, general manager, and now managing partner, right? So it's huge, and I really enjoyed getting to know El Patron a little bit more when he was here at our Culture Matters. I wish I could have spent more time with him, but I really enjoyed the few moments that we had. So I'm really excited for El Patron, and it's inspiring. It's great to see people make those big moves.
Yeah,
and
Lou's got them, but
can't
I
wait
think
to hear
we still
more
have
about it.
Not ready yet? We're ready. Okay.
We're ready.
And so, hey,
Let's do
real
it.
quick, guys, as we're bringing El Patron on, I want to remind you guys, comments and shares, we're going to pick some winners here. We got a really cool on-air hat we want to give away. This is an ADL hat, man. I'm going to tell you, to be honest with you, I didn't think we had any more of these left, so we grabbed one of these on-air hats. You're going to want this. It's a really cool white hat. Then we also have the ADL snapback, or no, it's not snapback actually, but it is mesh back, and it's got the mic on it. It's got the gray and white, and we have a couple of T-shirts, Game Changer T-shirts. We're going to give these away to you today. I want to say thank you just for some comments and sharing, and we're going to give these away here in just a minute. But without further ado, guys, the brand new partner and GM at Sunrise Chevrolet at Forest Hills, no stranger to the show, no stranger to social media. You guys know who he is, but let's bring him on. Let's give the spotlight slap on El Patron. What's up, brother? How you doing, man?
What's going on, guys? What up?
Brother, man, congratulations, first of all, man. We were waiting for an announcement, and we knew it was going to be coming. You've been, I'm sure you've had no shortage of opportunities, and you took a couple of months, man. I really respect, just how you did it, what you did. And while you were off, man, you were consulting and doing things. But so you've landed, and it looks like a great opportunity, and with a lot of growth.
Tremendous.
Talk to us about it, man. Let's put the spotlight on you, man. Congratulations, brother.
Thank you. Game Changer Conference was kind of like a confirmation that I needed to step out of the comfort zone and pretty much I wanted to just, you know, 10x my whole life, right? Like Glenn said, like, you know, Simon said, it's just a matter of, you know, changing everything in your life, man. And I was just a little complacent in Brooklyn. You know, things were just going pretty much, you know, status quo. And I love a challenge. I love a challenge, you know. And I said, I'm gonna go out in faith. I'm gonna step out in faith and go all out, man. It's just, you know, what we created in Brooklyn was amazing, and an amazing team over there, of course. And we changed culture, right? We changed some people's lives, and I think it was time for me to kind of, you know, level up, right? I wanted to level up, and I'm like, what else is for El Patron? You know, Mitsubishi's great, but I think we could do better.
Yeah.
And I'm in great terms with them. You know, they love me, and they know how passionate I am about this business, and they were like, hey, we respect your decision. They even threw a birthday cake, you know, because I did it on my birthday. It's the second time that I leave the group. Last time I left them for about 7 months, because I wanted to get back to new cars. We're doing used cars only in the Queens Automotive location. And this time he said, how do you leave without having a job? I said, that's what Face is about, you know, not knowing what's ahead, but believing in yourself that, you know, what you bring to the table, that somebody will actually go for it. And I wasn't taking no for an answer. So I was doing a lot of consulting. You know, I opened all these companies that I have with social media and advertising agencies and things like that. So, you know, I was still busy, you know, grinding, doing my Zoom calls and everything till midnight and things like that. So I was meeting owners, and I was just getting hit off from everywhere. Every principal, dealer principal was hitting me up, you know. So I think I was working harder the 3 weeks that I was off of work than when I was grinding it out.
You know, I want to bring something up, because people don't realize, you know, and I'll talk to you guys here, and Chris and Cribs, and you guys can bring it in, and maybe we can talk to El Patron about this. But people don't realize, you know, they see, you know, they follow someone. And by the way, Lou, grab Jose, one of our young sales guys. I'm going to embarrass him, El Patron. He said, I walked out. I had to handle something in the middle of the show earlier. And when I was walking back in the studio, he said, hey, yeah, he's a new guy. He's a finance manager for a big Toyota store down here. But he said, you got El Patron on? I said, yeah. He's, man, I've always wanted to meet that guy. And I'm going to bring him on and let you meet him on the air. But anyway, so but people understand, like somebody like Jose here, rock star, you know, finance guy, going to be 24-year-old rock star salesperson. Come around here, Jose. Come around over here. But anyway, Rudy or Jose El Patron, he said, you know, somebody would say, hey, you know what, man, El Patron's made it, or hey, you know, Dave's made it, Glenn's made it, these people made it, you know, and da-da-da-da-da. And then they don't realize that, you know, to keep yourself sharp. You said something that I'm not sure if anybody got the reason why you said it and why you do it. You said, man, I gotta step out on faith. What you did is created, you enlarged your territory, because that's the only way you can grow. And it doesn't matter what level you are at. People don't understand that, you know, somebody could be following you and aspiring to get to where you are, and you still have to enlarge your tent to grow. You know what I'm saying? I mean, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the scariest things that people don't realize, that it can pretty much break you. And there was a time, David, that I was questioning myself, and I said, did I did this wrong? Did I do this correctly? What was I thinking? Because people's like, why would you leave that kind of position? Why would a person like that? It's crazy to leave that kind of position. But I you know, it's that's what faith is about. You don't know, you going stepping out, like, you know, whether it works or not. And I said it in the video, whether it's the biggest mistake or the biggest reward, I just gonna go for it. I knew that I was made to do great things, and you know, and there was challenge, and there was times that I was questioning myself, man, towards the end, like, because I wasn't taking no for an answer, because the problem that I was having is that nobody wanted to use my brand. No owner in the right mind, because I knew I had a unique situation in Brooklyn. But, you know, El Patron is who made me who I am today. So I cannot change that. And I wasn't backing down. And I had, you know, I had offers to run 3 multiple stores. I had offers to get a Porsche dealership You know, I turned down Nissan, and the principal's like, listen, man, nobody turns me down. How much money? And I'm like, listen, dude, this is not about the money, man. You don't understand. Like, I'm not chasing money. I'm chasing opportunities. I want the guy that's gonna see the vision with me and is gonna grow, and I'm gonna go it and I'm gonna see it at the end. I said, I'm not for the quick buck right now. You know what I mean? So I knew that doing that, but there is other people watching, right? And my kids were watching. Like, my kids were involved, well, with the Mitsubishi, Chevy, and they're like, Daddy, you like Mitsubishi better? I said, I understand that, but you know, I got out of that, you know. So I even got my kids involved, my wife. So it created a lot of issues, you know, because I might be a little more strong-minded, but you know, my wife is not, you know. So it's like, what are we doing here? Like, did you make the right move? I just bought this freaking mansion, you know. So she's like, what the hell are we doing? I'm like, listen, just hang in there. I'm like, trust the process, and every time, you know, I go to church every Sunday, every time is like, trust the process, be patient, you know what I'm saying? So there was a lot of things that was coming against me, but I stayed positive. I always, you know, I wasn't gonna give in, and I finally found a few people that was like, you know what, I love what you do, and this is what I want in my store, and this is the store that I really wanted in my heart, and it was the hardest one to get. That's why I knew this was the one, because even it went down to the wire, you know, because the store is for sale. So I'm like, man, this is like crazy, and that's what faith is about. It was meant to be. So,
well, man, congratulations on it. I think you know, you spoke to a lot of people just now. Jose, man, what do you think? We brought you in here because young man, you said you know, this is somebody you follow. You've been following for a long time. You've been listening to him.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've been following for about 5 years now. I mean, I have a buddy of mine that he's a finance director over at Bay Ridge Hyundai, and he used to tell me about him, you know, what he had going on, you know, in the city itself, and what he's about. You know, he's a pure motivator. And I started following him in LinkedIn, you know, online YouTube, watch his videos. You know, it's very inspiring, and I mean, it's so
you just heard his story. You just heard this story where he said, "Man, you know what? People ask me, am I crazy for switching?" And you're inspiring people, El Patron, man. That's what it's all about, brother. You know what? And I respect the heck out of that, because you know, it's easy to do something for money, but you know what? When you do something to change lives, you know, the money's going to follow. You know, life changes. You know, that's where it's at. But I respect the heck out of why you're doing it, and it's evident, brother. Chris, man, right? Well,
yeah,
you've been doing this a while. That's pretty amazing story.
It is an amazing story, and I think you can take something from that. The fact that, you know, you were successful where you were, you decided to leave for a new challenge. You know?
Before he had the challenge,
right?
He left for the challenge, not for the opportunity.
But he knew. But obviously, you knew that you needed something,
right?
And obviously, it must have been a challenge in wanting a new challenge, a new opportunity, and believing in your faith, in yourself, in your God, and realizing that, you know, I'm going to trust the process and everything will eventually work out. And that's the toughest part, is putting your faith in something that you can't see.
Yeah.
And trusting that it's going to happen. So I applaud you, man. That's awesome.
El Patron, before we let you go, man, because I mean, I know you got obviously you got a big audience and people already have seen this out there. But if there's anybody watching now that that maybe they're not all over social media all the time, however they're on this show, maybe they're listening, but they're living up in that market, or they're willing to relocate and they're rock stars. You're looking for good people. What kind of positions are you guys looking for? You know, what are you looking to do and bring in to take Sunrise to the next level?
I mean, I have everything available right now. I'm going through pay plans. I'm going through, resumes right now. I'm interviewing people tonight on my home. Like, you know, I'm gonna grind it out, and I'm gonna build a team that it's gonna be amazing to work for. I want to give people 401ks. Like, you know what I'm saying? I want to change the stigma, you know, like you can have a 401k in the car business. You can have fully dental and everything offered to people and have a decent pay plan that they can have a decent life. And it's not about, you know, I'm going to work here till 1 o'clock in the morning. Those days are over. You know what I'm saying? You know, Google tried it, right? Yeah. I don't know if it was Google or Yahoo, the 4-week schedule. I'm not saying that I'm going to go there, but they have the most productive ever. And I was at Google, and I see why people don't want to leave Google. You know, they come in and they got their own thing, and you know, like they don't even have a set date. Like there's no certain vacation. They have no time, so they can take as long as they want. And you would think that people are just going to take 6 months off, but it doesn't even happen. So thus the kind of things that I want to change in my organization, that now I can be like, okay, listen, it's 99.9% or 90%, whatever, my decision to make it that better for younger guys, because I want sales managers, I want F&Is to come out of here, I want directors, the next GMs to come out of my store, and they say, you know what, Patron made me who I am, will help me get to the ladder. So all the training and all the stuff that they need, I'm going to invest in them, because human capital is the best investment you can make. Right. Because it's hard to find talented people. It's hard to find people that want to go grind every day. People leave their bosses. They don't leave their jobs, okay? So if you're a grumpy guy, guess what? Nobody wants to work for you. Those days are over, okay? So guess what? I want to motivate and positive and just have money's not a bad word. Profit's not a bad word. We're entitled to make money. You know what I'm saying? So you could do it the honest way. You could do it the right way and do the right thing by the customer.
Man, thank you so much, man. Well, we wish you the best, man. We look forward to following your journey. And if you're not following, make sure you do. El Patron, man, 2020 is going to be a big year, brother. Thank you so much for coming on. And again, congratulations, brother.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you again. Hey, El Patron, ladies and gentlemen, Sunrise Chevrolet of Forest Hills, brand new partner there. And so listen, as we wrap this show up, thank you, man, for joining us, brother. He told me, he's like, man, he goes, don't be bringing me on here. I don't want to go live, but here he is. Look at him. He's a natural. And hey, listen, if you guys don't forget Hustle and Grind, the information. I'll be speaking there, obviously, with Glenn Lundy in April, and Scott Simons will be there. It's just going to be an amazing conference. And then Digital Dealer, I want to invite you guys out the beginning of April. And also, Matthias, if you're listening, just post the Digital Dealer link in there as well. But listen, here's the deal. We're going to have our whole rig up at Digital Dealer, man. We've got a 10 by 20 booth, Auto Dealer Live. If you saw us last year, we had the whole rig, man, the whole scaffolding. It was just really cool. It's like being like at a rock concert. But we're going to have 10 by 20 booths set up there. We're going to be doing tons of interviews with dealers and automotive studs and studettes. And I'm going to be emceeing all the keynotes there. It's going to be crazy. We got several people doing workshops. We invited, I think, 8 of our GMs and dealers in to do specific workshops. So we're heavily involved. We're looking forward to that as well. So April's going to be a big month. Plenty of opportunity for us to meet you. Digital Dealer in the beginning, and then Hustle and Grind at the end. And what's
three winners? We got
These
three
are
winners. Come on, we got
Chris,
3 winners.
Read them?
Sure.
There's the winners, baby. Hey, so what do you want to give away first?
Let's give away the hat.
Which one?
Let's give away the I don't know. Let's give
ADL hat.
One is gray, one is white.
He's like,
Chris, man, come on, help you. Let's give away the Are you colorblind?
No, I'm not colorblind.
So the gray hat.
The gray hat.
Brain dead, but not colorblind.
Hey, who's the
gray
first
hat?
winner?
Who's the winner of the gray hat? This is a pretty cool hat, guys. ADL. It's a mesh back, gray and white.
And
cool
hold
hat.
on, with the drum roll.
Don Lloyd. I can't pronounce that.
Don Farrell.
Thanks.
No, not Farrell. I can pronounce that. It's the other part.
Luciano.
There we go.
She'll be next week.
Come on, Don Farrell Luciano. Here you go. This goes to Don. Make sure you get that to Rhea. That's Don's.
Now I think we should give the white hat out next.
White hat. All right.
Hat. And
on air, white hat. Now, this hat here, man, it's got the ADL at the back, mic on the back. This hat's pretty sweet.
Hat.
Even if you don't want to wear this hat, I don't know. I mean, because hats go in and out.
No, that's
of
sweet.
Style and things like this. Yeah, style is cool. Yeah. But this is a cool hat, just man, to put on your shelf. This is a one of a kind. I didn't think we had any of these left, actually. I got one in the office.
This is going to go to my man Brian Thompson.
Brian Thompson. Brian, come on, man. Rocking the GC ones. You took a picture of those. Now you can take this hat and post it. Brian Thompson. Woo, look at that right there, baby.
Now,
Boom.
the shirt going to...
And we'll get you the right size if this is the wrong size.
Yeah. This is the Game Changer shirt going to
Eric. If you're not in my Game Changer group or Auto Dealer Live group,
Wilroy.
Join. Who is it?
Wilroy.
Eric Wilroy. All right. Come on down. All right, guys. Hey, man, I hope you guys have a wonderful week. We'll see you guys next week on Auto Dealer Live.
See ya.